Sometimes you're gonna have people who are not gonna stay around. They can't, for whatever reason. It can be anything. You want to leave an impression upon them where they're just going to be raving fans of you, regardless of whether they can continue on as a member or not. They're just going to be saying all kinds of nice things about you wherever they go. And I think that we get that. And I've been told by several clients that, our name, our business comes up and all we get is just rave reviews. We're doing the work of creating an amazing experience.
Quan Su, I'm excited to have you here, man. Thank you for joining me and doing this live training with everybody. We got people watching us live in the Gym Reinforcement's Facebook group. And so I did this pop-up training with you because I think that this is a very valuable topic. We were planning to just record it on Zoom, put it on the podcast, and just go that route, which we still will. But I just want to get this in the hands of everybody as quickly as possible so they don't have to wait for all that editing. And so we decided, boom, let's surprise everybody. Let's do a pop-up training. And the topic is how to break 40K EFT a month, because shout out to Quan Su. He has just recently done that. So if you guys are watching, join me giving this man a round of applause. Well done. So that is a huge milestone. Just so everyone gets some context, Quan Su, where is your gym and how long have you been in business?
Yeah, I'm in Massapequa Park, New York, which is on the South Shore of Long Island, New York. And I've been open since about 2 months before COVID.
Okay, so in a little over 2 years, that's not very long. Yeah, so you've hit that. That's a pretty quick ramp up, for most gym owners to see. And so that's exciting. And I'm excited because I want to jump into the main areas of business, and all we're going to do is just like open up the car hood and say, okay, like what's going on in this area, what's going on in that area, and just give everybody a full behind the curtain peek of what it looks like inside of a 40K, so that if you guys are not at that number, you're below it, you can see what is that gap between where I am and what's in a 40K gym, so I can close that gap. And we want to make that happen for you guys. And before I jump into the topics with Quan Su here, I am a believer that sometimes you might see different stages and versions of your business as you go through different levels of growth. So there's the starter stage where maybe you're doing a lot as the owner, you have no team or very little team, and you're covering all the bases. You're doing all the marketing, the sales, the fulfillment, and that's just like that starter stage. Then there's that delegation stage where you're feeling a little bit more comfortable with hiring people. You've hired your first coach, you hired your first admin, you've hired your first marketing team, and that allows you to break into your next level of growth. And then there's the final stage, which is, mastery, where you're going to really learn how to become the master of all the areas of your business. And that's what I feel like Quan Su's breaking into here. And I'm excited to kind of share that with you guys, because it's where things get the most exciting with your business. And so we're going to dive into these different topics. And so again, guys, if you're watching live, take notes. This is something that can help you if you are not hitting $40,000 months. This is exactly, we're going to show you what it looks like. Okay. So Quan Su, why don't we start with marketing? That's the top of the funnel. How do we get leads? How do we get enough leads to hit 40K a month? What have you found to be your best offer, and where do you find most of your leads come from? If you can share like your top 3 sources, I think that'd be awesome.
Well, top, I guess top 2, really. I mean, there's only 2. There's Facebook and there's referrals, so, and my 2 best offers that have worked to drive just crazy amounts of traffic have been the 21 for 67. And then when that kind of died out, I mean, I was doing that for almost a year and a half. And then we just recently had to switch to something called the 4 for 44, which is, 4 weeks for $44. And that has caught on as done very well in driving traffic to our studio.
Are you guys doing the game card version of the 444 challenge, or are you just doing 4 weeks for $44?
Oh, it's just 4 weeks for $44. They come in,
okay,
Out for 3 times a week for 4 weeks for a one-time fee of $44. And after that, they can decide whether they want to become a member. And we always tell them, we'd love to have you as a member. If not, hey, we just part as friends.
Got it. All right. Awesome, man. So what I love is what you brought up. You've really been building pretty steadily off of two main lead sources. Like, how many gym owners try to get their Instagram up and running, and they're trying to, like, go down to this local event and set up a table, and they're just chasing all the different ways of doing marketing and sales, and you're doing it off of two, and that's Facebook ads and referrals, which really should be the biggest two for every gym owner. Facebook still, although the prices went up, it's still a very reliable place that you can see your performance on your ads and your marketing dollars, and then justify the return. And then referrals. If you have an awesome product, you should be getting a steady flow of referrals. And are you putting strategic times to ask for it? So that's what I was going to say. Do people just organically just bring their friends and family, or are you guys putting opportunities for them to bring it and asking for it? Like, how do you extract those referrals from your members?
Well, for a long time, it was just organic. They talk about us in the community. What I see oftentimes is somebody goes and tries it out as a guinea pig.
Yeah.
And then on the very next time they come in, I want to bring my friend. I want to bring my sister, or, bring my aunt, whatever. And, they don't do that unless they're happy with their experience. Right. And and sometimes the best is when they have, like, initially when they tell you they have a couple of friends that I might want to try it, but I want to come in and try it myself. That they're guinea pig. We put it out there. We're doing this thing called Refer and Earn. And it's been something that was something that was developed by Fit Body headquarters. It was basically anybody who refers another person that comes in and signs up for a trial membership. In other words, does the 4 for 44. Well, the referring client has the opportunity to win $100 by way of a little raffle card that we put in a raffle box. And then, at the beginning of the next month, we pick a winner to win $100, and then we take a picture and we make a big deal out of it.
Love it. That's great.
I would say that's been good, but I think we get a lot more referrals, and people don't even tell us that they're being referred by somebody. Just come in, hey, I've been, like, somebody says something a while ago, and I've been wanting to come try you out.
Yeah, I think if you look at the way we behave when we find a business we love, like, don't we tell all of our friends that we found like a killer restaurant? Like, guys, we went out for date night. This place is awesome. Go check it out. Hey guys, I saw this movie. It was awesome. You got to go check it out. Hey, I went to this car repair shop and they took really good care of me. They have great customer service. Go check it out. You always just organically and naturally want to say good things about businesses where you had a good experience. And so that just is proof to me, Quantu, that you guys have an amazing experience and client, experience, that if they come in there, they want if you care about your friends and family and you want them to experience good customer service, you want to automatically refer them to the places you're going. You're like, I went through this and I want you to, because I care about you. And I know you've been struggling to find somebody that does this thing good. Like, you've been struggling to find a good car mechanic, a good, restaurant for date night. And like, you're looking for that great coach. You got to come check out my coach. Right. And so when someone has put their stamp of approval on it, that really means that they're like bought in, you've took good care of them. So I think what I would say is the action step here for a gym owner, if that is not happening for you, take some time. We tend to look at our marketing. We tend to look at our sales processes all the time. When's the last time you looked at your client experience and ask yourself, how many touch points do they get in the beginning when they're the most afraid and they have the most questions? Do we even check in on them? Or do you just give them the app and book them into workouts and then they just like get lost in the sea of clients? What are your check-ins, right? What are the results that you're getting? What's your process that, hey, these are our baby steps, follow our 5 baby steps, because you'll come out the other side a leaner, healthier version of you. Or is it left up to chance? Like, hey, they're in, they'll get more healthy and fit of just being in the gym, right? Like, really dialing that in. Is there anything you would say that you guys got really dialed in that you think is helping you get those referrals for your client experience?
Yeah, let me throw two things out at you. Boy, you talk about client experience, and this is something that I learned from you and also Matt Wilbur of our franchise. And he and you guys always talk about the client experience, right? I think that what we have here is a unique experience, even among fit bodies, right? So maybe that's just me, just being biased about what we do. But I have, I happen to know we have clients here who have attended other fit bodies, multiple fit bodies, and they have said to me, guys, I have to tell you, I've been to other fit bodies. You are the absolute best. That's just flat out right there. So that tells me we're doing something really, we're doing something unique, at least among the fit bodies. And I think we're pretty unique among other studios around here too. So the thing that I want, and I impress upon the coaches, is that the client has to feel something different the moment they walk through the door to the time that they leave. You know, it's got to be something that they just absolutely love being a part of, so that when they leave, wow, that was really amazing. I didn't expect that, you know, and it's just, I just want to give them the most amazing experience possible. And the next thing is an extension of that is that, you know, sometimes you're going to have people who are not going to stay around. They can't, you know, for whatever reason, it can be anything. You want to leave an impression upon them where they're just going to be raving fans of you, regardless of whether they can continue on as a member or not. They're just going to be saying all kinds of nice things about you wherever they go. And I think that we get that. I know this because people talk about us on this one moms page in the community. And this community, you know, the moms talk a lot, you know, and I've been told by several clients that, you know, our name, our business comes up and all we get is just rave reviews. And that to me tells me that we're doing the work of creating an amazing experience.
Yes, I love it. And, you know, one thing you brought up there is it's very intentional. This isn't like happenstance, like, oh man, I didn't know we were doing that. I'm glad everyone's having a good experience. You've set expectations, you hold those standards amongst your team, and you're chasing something that's very easy to measure, which is, do you feel something? You know, like we know what just walking into a gym feels like. For a lot of times it feels awkward, it feels, you know, uncomfortable. And so we need to make them feel a certain way. And so you're chasing a feeling, and that if your coach is delivering that from when they walk in to when they walk out, mission accomplished. You made them feel part of our community and our tribe. You made them feel seen. You made them feel encouraged for giving their best effort during the workout, and like, well done. That's what we do here. That's what we're here to accomplish.
Right. Well, intentional is the perfect word. And I can remember going back before the grand opening, I had to really kind of figure out what I wanted to be as an owner and what we wanted to be as a studio. So as you know, I'm one of those guys that really, I've visited so many studios around the tri-state area, going to Michigan, going to California. I visited, I think, maybe all of your studios. I mean, I probably visited, 30 to 40 different studios and dozens of owners, because I really wanted to understand the difference between a failing business, an average business, and businesses that were just thriving, right? So I started like really, arranging in my mind, what do I want in my studio that really resonated with me, that just made me excited to be there. And then when I started, building a team, I said, this is what I want. This is how I want the experience to be. And thankfully, I had coaches that were coachable and understood the value of most of it. Sometimes you get a coach who's not on board 100% because they're uncomfortable with certain things. I had one coach, and he was great, but he said he didn't want to do this one thing because he was uncomfortable with it. I said, and uncomfortable meaning he just had trouble with the execution of it. And I said, and he asked me flat out, can I just not do that? And I said, no, you cannot not do that, because I want you to do it. And I want you to be in your car practicing how to say these things during the session. I don't want you to not do it because you're uncomfortable. Well, guess what? He took my advice and he just started practicing in his car. And before you know it, he was like very comfortable with it. I'm like, see? And, I like to think that when people come through the door, they're greeted differently than they would be greeted at I don't know, Arts Theory or the other gym down the street where they go, oh, hi, how you doing? You know, I like to think that the experience is very different the moment you walk through the door. And and if you can create that experience, amazing experience, I swear you don't really have to sell anything. It sells itself.
Love it. Okay. Well, we're hitting fulfillment. So that was the next topic. We talk marketing. We're kind of transitioning here into fulfillment. And we're talking about that feeling. We're talking about, a different experience. Let's dive into it even deeper. Like when I'm a client, I'm coming to a session. A workout is a workout. If we're doing push-ups and goblet squats and we're shaking some battle ropes, I could do that at any gym. Why do I need to come and shake your battle ropes? Why do I need to push up on your mats? What are your coaches doing to me during that workout experience that just makes it so special?
Yeah, I like to think of I think I don't know if I got this from you or not, but we really are like a personal training in a group environment, right? And we like to think that we give people real attention. And when they're when they're struggling, or you're just not able to do a certain thing, you got to be willing to say, okay, let's make a modification. Or sometimes a client can't do the exercise at all. And you just have to be able to give them something completely different so they can keep moving, right? And ultimately, the reason clients will continue to come back is they got to feel paid attention to, right? Now, I can tell you a couple of our clients went and tried other studios, other boot camps, different names, and they'll come back and say, and give me some feedback. They don't really coach you. You see people, they don't look like they know what they're doing. They just kind of walk around and don't really help you much. And some of our clients have mentioned that, I go there and coach over there gave me some nice compliments about my form and my technique. And very nicely, she would say something like, yeah, I go over to FitBody, pay attention to you. So that's what I think, is part of why people, why we're, I think, a little bit different. There are gyms all over the place closing. The truth is, we could be in trouble just like them. But I think that from the very beginning, we created something special.
Love it. Love it. So it's a lot of attention to the client. It's a lot of attention on their form, a lot of attention on them as a person, and just really coming with your working boots. I think, again, a lot of trainers, these are the ones that have given the industry a bad name, is like they're rep counters. They're just counting to 10, or they're checking their phone, or they're talking to another client while another client is lifting and they're not really in them. You're coming in being super focused, and you're letting that person feel it, and the amount of attention that you're giving them. And people will pay for that, because in today's world, we see a lot of attention in social media, which is digital, but how much attention do we get live from another person, right? We're craving for it. People want it. And so you're giving it that. And especially if they are like that target market, that mom, that all of her attention all day is on everybody else, the husband, the kid, the house, who's giving me any attention? Well, when you come to our facility, we're going to give that to you.
Let me throw another example in there. And I don't know if other studios do this, and if they're doing it a different way, but we don't do like this formal orientation, the night before, a half hour, 40-minute orientation. We set up a client, a new prospect, to come in and work out. And we make sure they're prepared. And if they follow the directions, then they're prepared. And if they're not prepared, well, it's okay. We'll just do the best we can with what they have. So they'll come in and we'll lead them to whatever workout spot that's going to be, for them, a good place for them to start, with a veteran client who knows what they're doing. And we'll introduce everybody around them to the people in the workout. Have a one-on-one conversation, just asking about their workout history, what to expect, and advising them if they have any kind of limitations, that we're going to give them modifications. We have modifications for everything. Pay attention to, their fatigue levels, that type of thing, and to make sure that even during the session, we're keeping an eye on them, making sure that, like, sometimes you get a sixth sense about people. You can tell they're going a little too hard after having not worked out for 2 years or 3 years. You just tell them, hey, slow it down. Let's skip this next round. And that's going to give them an extra level, feeling of comfort, knowing that, you're there, paying attention.
Yes. Love it. All right,
And
man.
then you have clients who have such like fairly severe limitations, they can't even go to the floor. You have to be willing to go around the floor with each and every one of them. Say, this is this exercise. What do you think? And then tell, and we do this regularly. Client will say, well, I can't really go to the floor. I can't do that one. And then you'll just say, well, here's what you're going to do instead. And we do that regularly. We have a few clients like that. Sometimes they'll come in and we have to go walk around the floor, making sure they know the proper modifications.
Got it. Love it. And again, I think that that's what, you being intentional have created with your team. I think, the big point you're making here is that the exercise selection is not what separates you. Probably all the gyms that know smart science of fat loss, how to do big compound lifts, how to work in bigger major muscle groups, everyone's doing the same thing. That is just not going to be enough to stand out. You have to do it in the version of customer service. That's who's going to win. Is if I go to 3 gyms and one gives me more attention and one says my first name and one knows my, as you brought up, my fatigue and my endurance level, and one is picking exercises that lift me up and don't make me feel defeated, I'm just going to go to that one for sure, like over the other 2 that are just like, there's the equipment, here's what we're doing, it's written on the board, get after it. And I just feel like there's not a lot of enthusiasm, right? And they're not really looking at me as a person.
They have to feel welcome, and feeling welcome means, you're giving them things that they have the ability to do, right? If you just bring somebody in here who's like a little on the older side and has a lot of like mobility issues, and you just expect them to do everything and just not, try, and not spend any time like modifying for them or making sure they can do the exercises, then that's not really customer care, is it? You're just kind of like, if you can't do it, well, so, sorry, and I know some businesses out there do that. I know they do, but I like to think that we pay closer attention, and I think that even if it's just one person, that person spreads the word about you guys.
Yep, love it. All right, well, let's talk sales, man, because to get to 40,000 EFT, that is a lot of sales conversations that you need to have. And you do we call it the traditional trial method, which is you sell somebody a trial experience, trial program, and then at some point in that trial, you're talking membership with them. So each person, there needs to be 2 discussions regarding a sale. The first to get them to buy the trial, the second to get them to buy the membership. So at your place now at being at 40,000 a month, what is your sales process? How are you handling that? How are you handling the volume and getting to that number of 40K EFT?
Well, let's talk about a couple of phases right here, right? So, and I think we talked about, 0 to 20K and then 20 to 40K. 0 to 20K was easy because we're talking about grand opening time, so I had to spend about a year marketing our grand opening. And then upon my grand opening, the pre-sale of the 6-week grand opening challenge, I had amazing success. I had 320 people, and I converted like 80% of them, and then to the charter membership. And the charter membership, when I do the math, was going to have us at like $37,000 EFT 2 months after we opened. The problem is 2 months after we opened, we had to close due to COVID. So that kind of, took our legs out from under us. But whatever, we fought through it. Up until then, I did my own marketing. And then at some point I realized, you know what, I need to have an expert do my marketing. So I hired a marketing company to do some marketing for me. We started when we opened up for outdoor boot camps. We did a campaign for outdoor boot camp that was very successful. They did most of the sales. I realized that, I guess my particular personality, I just hated calling people. I procrastinated. I would get 3 or 4 weeks of leads. I'd have 100 leads and I wouldn't even talk to any of them. Except that I finally decided, you know what, can you guys do this for me? And they said, yes, we'll do it. And that was a game changer. As soon as I offloaded it to them, it was like an immediate growth. after having lost more than half of my members. So then, continuing to pour money into marketing was, it has been key.
Love it. And so in terms of your guys's price point, just to give everybody like some, rough idea, what do you charge for your membership? What is your fees?
We started out with a charter membership. It was $29 per week.
Mm-hmm.
We currently only have about 30 charter members now. Now our new members are paying $34 per week. But I'm getting ready to raise that at the end of this month to $39.
Got it.
As I understand it, from our neighbors' feedback, that $39 should not be difficult to sell.
No.
Because we're in a good demographic.
Okay. All right. That's awesome, man. And so, yeah, in terms of sales, again, that's a great sales breakdown. At what point of the client journey do you offer the membership? Like if I'm on a trial program, I'm doing the four weeks for $44. How do you go about pitching them a membership?
Yeah, so we have a great program manager, Grace, who actually works for you, and I hired, and she's just amazing. So we have a process by which she reaches out to them either by phone or text and lets them know, hey, your trial is coming to an end next week or within a few days. And she explains to them what the membership options are. So we have two memberships, 6 month and a month to month, and offers it to them. And she's been amazing at closing new members. So that's the process.
And yeah, Grace is with us with Gym Reinforcement. She's doing the follow-up for you and, putting up some strong numbers every single week and month. And we love seeing that she's doing that for you.
All the time. I tell her that all the time. You guys, you're doing amazing. Just keep doing what you're doing. And then the other thing I'll tell you, and this might be jumping the gun on a topic. I gave her basically a directive. I said, I want to get to 400 members by the end of October. And this was earlier this year. Grace, we're at this. I want to get to 400 members. And I know we can do it with your help. And she's been laser focused because she wants it more than I do, I think.
I love it. Yes. She's very goal driven, and it's important. This is like a good reminder to everybody. If you have high performers, people that you see are like hungry and driven and they're very competitive, you have to give them targets. High performers do not feel like they're living up to their best potential when they don't have targets. It's like playing a sports game and you don't know the score and you don't know who's winning. Are we winning? Are we losing? And you kind of lose interest. You just walk off the field. But you'll notice high performers are always looking at that scoreboard. Are we winning? I'm going to kick their butt. I'm going to get another touchdown. I'm going to get another home run. So you want a scoreboard to show them how are we doing and then give them targets. And that is a very important thing. So when it comes to, the sale, it's so easy though, because we're going back to it, your fulfillment, that your client journey and experience is just dialed in and it's amazing. And just people want to buy that, and if you have a good quality product, look at any of the companies that have crazy success, the product's just good. And that just makes the sales conversation less awkward, really easy, higher, yes rate. So this would be, again, another reflection point for the gym owners. If you're seeing a low conversion rate, if you see people dropping off after a few days of their trial, if you're seeing a lot of no's and a lot of price objections, they're probably just not able to articulate, I'm just really not feeling like you're going to get me to where I want to go. Like, I don't believe in you. I'm not really feeling it. I'm not seeing the customer service that this amount of money I should be getting. And so the hunt continues. I'm going to another gym. I'm going to see if someone else out there has got it. But people know when they walk in, they're like, oh, I found my home. Just no more searching. I'm going to drive with blind eyes down the road. I don't even see all the other gyms because I found my gym. I found my fitness family. And you just become like a Kool-Aid drinker. This is time and feedback. Again, we're hitting this again. Go back and look at your program, your client experience in your sessions. And here's something that I'll just give you as like an easy way to break it down, because people hear me say that and they're like, okay, what does that mean? What do I go do? Do I just go take a workout and then give that coach feedback? No, that's a Band-Aid fix. What you're probably missing is you're just missing a system of like, how to run a boot camp session, how to run a personal training session, how to run a small group session. And if somebody doesn't have that, they don't know how to deliver what you want. They can't read your mind. Like Quan Tzu, you're really good at articulating to your team what that looks like. So you need to get that down on paper. And it doesn't mean you have to do it alone. You can get with your team. You guys can all brainstorm on it. But once you have that document, you can then train your team. And the beauty is once you have someone doing a really good job, you can put another coach with them and say, do what they do. And then, they'll copy. And then if you have it backed up on a document too, then they can now see, and read, and they can study the material. And then if it's even better if you start getting some recorded sessions and say, this was a fire session, deliver these, and you give them that. And now you see how you're creating more and more resources that it makes it hard to fail. And a lot of times we have a coach that's failing because we don't have any resources for them to see, what is it you want me to deliver? I probably can, I just need to see it, right? And so that's really what makes the sale easy, is if that experience is fire. So I'm glad you're really bringing that, up, Quan Tzu, that it's just like, look, she's closing people on text. Like, who closes memberships on text? But why? Because of what you guys are creating every day in your experience, right?
And I keep saying it to, my fellow franchise owners, guys, if you have a really great experience in the studio, it's like you don't have to sell a thing. And we rarely have to sit and talk about objections and strategize about objections and how to overcome pricing and stuff like that, because the experience is so good that they automatically want to sign up. Some just, for whatever reason, cannot, and that's okay. You're not going to get everybody, but the desire to sign up as a member, the vast majority of the time is there because it's different than anything they have been to or different than what they expected. And I get that a lot. This is nothing like I expected, they would say, and also, like, it's like you said, in the beginning, before the grand opening, we had some, ladies, like, guinea pigs that would come in and we would coach them on the phone. We do a boot camp session because we wanted to learn how to do it. And I realized that we need to fix a bunch of things, and I would direct the team to do this and that. And I realized that they're not really doing it to the extent that I wanted them to. And I realized it was because they don't really have a clear guideline. So when I realized that, I actually needed to create a document that says, how to run a boot camp session. And it could go all the way from what you say, how to say it, when to say it, and then how long it's going to last. This part, like the phases of a boot camp session: introduction, getting their attention, demo and warm up and all that stuff. And then what happens after? Well, you're going to clean up, and you're going to make sure, dumbbells are, cleaned up in a certain manner. All these things have to be outlined. Otherwise, people are just going to do whatever they think is in their mind is okay. One coach would just take a bunch of resistance bands and just throw them down. And I'm like, well, I need you to look. And I would show them exactly, line them up, facing up. The weights of the bands have to be facing up so you can see them, put them in order so it looks nice and neat. And then he was like, oh, okay, I got it. I can do that.
Attention to detail, huge.
I learned that from what? I learned that from you, as well as my friend up in Wilton Fit Body, Dylan. Dylan's like hyper focused on cleanliness. I don't know that I'm as clean as he is, but he's like a neat freak. And I was like, okay, I guess I got to be kind of like this too.
Well, I would say it just gives a little bit of that like gasp factor, that little like I'm taken aback, like the attention to detail. And people see that when they come in, and like every boot camp station has like like well organized equipment, and then it's carefully thought through. Like, here's your 5s, your 10s, and your 15s in order from lightest to heaviest. And it's almost like I got a mini weight rack right here in front of me. And so that is like the extra steps that they will not get somewhere else. That's your competitive advantage. A lot of coaches will turn their programming and the workouts, and it's like Nope, because if the other guys have the same workout, what are you going to do then? But guess what? What if they walk in and the client has to go to the rack and get their own weights? And the client's making a bunch of trips to go pick up their own equipment, and now it's slowing down their ability to train. But yours, it's, nicely placed right there.
And we know that the moment the workout begins, after the first round, everything gets messed up anyway, right?
Oh yeah, it just becomes a car wreck, chaos.
Like making your bed, you don't just not make your bed because you're gonna get back into it later and mess it up. You do it because clients walk in and they want to walk into a nicely arranged, clean looking studio, and they're gonna look around and go, "Oh, this is nice," That's what it's about too.
So Quan, let's go on to like leadership, because we're bringing that up here with you bringing up attention to detail, casting vision for your team. When do you do that? When are you referencing your guys' mission or vision? If you guys have core values, if you're referencing those, and reminding them of the why, because at the end of the day, we can really bring it down to being a very small thing, and we don't think we're making that big of an impact. Like, I'm just giving these people a workout. How do you remind them about the mission and how we're making big changes in these people's lives?
Well, this is something that I struggle with and something I need to get better at, because I don't think I remind them enough. I have one coach who does a lot of admin work. Her name is Melissa, and she's amazing, right? So she's the one I communicate with the most about what our goals are and what we want. And I have a couple of other, one other full-time coach and a part-time coach as well, that I don't communicate as much. But one of the things I always want to impress upon them is maintaining the culture of the studio, because that's what keeps them coming back. And the only way I can say it to them is we have to protect our culture at all costs, no matter what. There are times, I have to sit down with a coach because they're not really behaving in line with the core values. So, sometimes I would say, for example, I just said a real example. I had to sit my coach down and say, okay, I understand you one day want to open up your own studio, right? Own gym. And I said, okay, well, let me ask you, what do you think is the most important part of what we do here? Why do clients keep coming back? Oh, the energy. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's one of the things. There's another thing even more important, the workouts. Well, that's important too. You got to have a good workout. That's part of why they come here. And then, we just kind of went around in circles. I finally just said, it's everything that you just talked about and more. That all, just kind of rolls up into this thing called culture, right? And I said to her, one of the things I've been observing you do is once the session is over, you withdraw, you walk around the corner, grab your cell phone and start texting away. Now, when you're texting away and not paying attention to the clients, either before the session starts or after the session ends, what do you think that client thinks? And she said, well, they probably think I don't care. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That you don't care. And I said to her, we've talked about this a few times. And now we're having another conversation about the same thing. And I said, I'm asking you to try to maintain the culture of paying attention to the clients when they're in the studio, and this time it came across more stronger because I actually had to explain to her why it's important. Not just, hey, don't play with yourself. I had to explain to her why it's important. The culture is really flat out the most important part, and we need to protect it at all costs.
Love it, man. In terms of just, like communication with your team, do you guys have weekly meetings? How do they hear what's going on and what's coming up in the company?
Yeah. Again, this is something that I need to get better at, something I struggle with. I talk to them one-on-one, Melissa more than anyone, because, she does a lot more than just coaching, so we interact pretty frequently, but it's not like a scheduled thing. I have a couple of part-time coaches that having regular meetings is just not practical for them. So I just decided I'm not going to chew on that bone because it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
But my two full-time coaches, I have discussions with them about goals and what's to be expected and what we're trying to do.
Love it. And that's why I love this, under the hood look, because we're seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so one thing that I know a lot of gym owners will do is like, I have to do identical what the other gym owners doing to achieve what they're doing. And you don't, you just proved it. I know gym owners that are doing over 40K a month and they have weekly team meetings, and then you just put it that you can accomplish it without having that. And I think what you are doing though is you're keeping communication strong. You're talking to them, you're giving them updates, you're keeping them plugged in, and you're making sure that they are aware of what's going on. You're just not doing it in the format of that weekly team meeting, which is fine.
Let me give you another example. Like a year and a half ago, it was January of 2021, and I had lost 3 coaches all at one time. And so I had to take on the job of 3 coaches, coaching, I would say anywhere from 40 to 45 sessions per week by myself on the floor with literally sometimes 20, 25 people in a room by myself. So some of the experience suffers because you're by yourself. Yeah. But one thing I did maintain at all costs is maintaining the culture. Right? How the clients feel, when they come in, how we greet them, the entire experience I maintained it the whole time. And from April to August of 2021, we just exploded. We more than doubled our membership. And maybe it was a sign of the times too, because COVID restrictions had completely been lifted. But I like to think it had to do with the fact that, just we continued to maintain the culture of what we were doing.
Love it, dude. But yeah, we are coming up on time here. We're getting up there almost an hour. So I did want you to ask, is there any other golden nuggets of wisdom that you would go back and tell yourself when you first opened, or that you want to tell somebody who wants to hit that 40K mark? What else would you share with them to help them achieve that goal?
The thing I struggled with first and foremost, I was never shy about spending money on advertising. But the thing that I really had trouble with was relinquishing responsibility, because I have a way that I want something done. When it's not done that way, it would just mess with my head, but you have to be willing to accept somebody doing a job, almost as good. And also delegating the responsibility of sales, and client follow-up to someone else. And I had a hard time with that too. And now that I've done that, I can't tell you how much, better the operations run. I think, hiring you guys to do the sales and the client follow-up has been one of the reasons that the client experience is good, because, that's one way that Grace pays attention. We pay attention through Grace, reaching out to them and making sure that they're, attending sessions. I also discussed with her, look, there's a trial, there are trial members in the studio. We need to make sure that they're coming in, because if you don't pay attention to that, you could lose track of them. 2 months will go by and you'll be like, oh my God, she signed up for a trial membership. What happened to her? And that happened to me in the beginning. Like, it happened all the time. But now it doesn't happen because I have Melissa and Grace, taking care of those things. So relinquishing and delegating responsibility is the thing that I would tell everybody to get really, really good at.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this live training. Hope you enjoyed, just hearing these nuggets of wisdom from Kwon Soo. Again, in 2.5 years to go from 0 to 40K EFT, he definitely took his time. He studied successful owners and locations. He, made sure he got these areas of the business dialed in: marketing, sales, fulfillment, a huge one, and then developing leadership skills. And so that's how he got where he is today. And then, of course, not being afraid to invest into marketing and follow-up service so that he doesn't have to worry about it.
And let me also throw something else in. You don't need I'm a franchise, so I'm part of Fit Body Bootcamp. The corporate assistance and the guidance of Fit Body Corporate at the time wasn't very good. So I had decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on my own by following the direction of my mentors. And so far, I would say 90% of anything that happens here, I did as a result of learning from my mentors. I run a pretty simple marketing plan. And, I have the 21 for 67 or 4 for 44. And I've just been growing pretty rapidly over the past 2 years, keeping it simple and really learning from your mentors and taking the direction. You don't need, you don't need tons of resources. You just need a few.
Yes, love it. All right, fantastic, Quantu. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for doing this live training and giving back to the industry and sharing everybody your winning playbook. So appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to help in any way. And, if anybody, needs additional help, I'm happy to help too.
Love it. All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.